I am DuckBricks, and these are the brand new LEGO Minecraft movie sets. Let's take a look. Oh boy, where to even start with this? The Minecraft movie, in case you live under a rock and have not seen the horrific trailers, is one of the movies of all time that is releasing this year. Starring Aquaman, Wednesday's friend, Adebayo from Peacemaker, my girl Tanya from The White Lotus, and everyone's favorite Jack Black, the Minecraft Isekai pictures some real-world people sucked into the Minecraft world, where they discover some horrific creatures known as chicken and sheep, and have to fight back against some denizens of the Nether. The Minecraft movie is definitely one of the more controversial movies that isn't out yet, and a lot of that has to do with the trailer. Unfortunately, unlike the Sonic movie where they could just go back and redo one character, you can't really fix 20 or 50 characters that all have the same horrific art style. I mean, you could also argue that the entire idea and conception behind the movie itself was flawed, and I had seen better Minecraft movies when I was 14 in middle school, but that's besides the point. It's because of this reason that I was very, I don't know if excited is the word, but I was very curious to see what the LEGO sets, if any, would even look like based off this movie. Would we get just regular LEGO Minecraft sets with the same exact style of mobs? Would we get regular minifigures and standard Minecraft sets? Would it be more like a standard play theme? And well, here's the answer. It's kind of a mix of both. You see, what they've done is they've basically taken Minecraft style builds and just turned them into things that you would see in the movie. Basically, every single one of the mobs has been given a terrifying redesign to make them feel a little bit more fleshy and realistic compared to their designs in the movie, which is quite strange to look at as a LEGO figure. I think the most jarring one to me is the zombie, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll get to that in a second. Of course, these sets also include standard minifigures of the main protagonists of the movie, although sadly there is no set based off of the rumored romance subplot between Jennifer Coolidge and a Minecraft villager. We do get the villager though.
Please, these gays, they're trying to murder me.
But enough about the movie, let's take a look at the sets. We have 21272, the Woodland Mansion Fighting Ring, retailing for $50 and coming with 491 pieces, and containing Steve, Garrett, Henry, a baby zombie, a chicken jockey, and the Great Hog, whatever that is. And we also have 21273, the Gassed Balloon Village Attack, coming in at $70. It has 555 pieces, and yes, I am reading that right, containing Steve, Natalie, Dawn, two piglins, a villager, a baby chicken, and an iron golem. As far as all of these sets are concerned, they kind of are similar to standard Minecraft sets. The Woodland Mansion is the strangest out of all of them in the way it's done, making it feel more like a standard traditional system playset as opposed to a Minecraft set. And I will note, we still have never gotten a standard vanilla game-based Woodland Mansion set for LEGO Minecraft, and that makes me sad. So let's take a look at both of the sets now, starting off with the smaller one, which is the Woodland Mansion Fight Club. It's a very similar set in play feature to a lot of the battle sets that LEGO has done in the past. You know, when I think of epic battles, there are a few that come to mind. Anakin versus Obi-Wan, and now Aquaman versus Chicken Jockey. It's like poetry, it rhymes. Taking a look at the set itself, this is the least Minecrafty out of the two Minecraft sets. Again, as I mentioned, it feels more like a standard system playset, and a lot of that has to do with the play function, as well as the main build of the set being basically a wall. Honestly, I have some mixed feelings on this set. Genuinely, the play feature is actually kind of fun. It always is a blast whenever LEGO includes play features like these, and while it might not be as epic of a battle as some other ones depicted with a similar type of mechanism, it is still fun to just kind of make the figures clash and battle, or make out, depending on what you want to do. You know, it's your play feature, I'm not going to stop you, but it is actually pretty cool that you actually have a score counter as well. You can kind of see who knocks who off the platform, who lasts the longest, and it's actually quite a fun battle system. Unfortunately, this battle is a little stacked against old Aquaman here because the chicken jockey, of course, has a chicken, so he will lose the fight 99% of the time, and maybe that's gonna be what happens in the movie, which is why he just looks absolutely terrified. The movie is very predictable at this point. Like, I can absolutely see Jason Momoa stepping into the fight pit, being like, oh, I can take a chicken super easy, and then the zombie hops on the chicken and he gets absolutely destroyed. You know, it just writes itself at that point. So This is actually a very faithful scene as it seems in the movie. We've seen little clips of this particular scene in trailers, and it actually looks remarkably accurate. The chicken jockey is one of the strangest builds of the set, and we're going to take a closer look at that when we look at the figures, but of course we can actually put in really any figure here. If you want to make somebody fight the much larger figure that is included in the set, well, you can do that as well and have them have some sort of battle with the Great Hog over here, which is also a pretty fun brick-built creature. As far as the rest of the set goes outside of the play feature though, honestly, it's a little lackluster. I'm used to Minecraft sets at least offering us a fully fledged building, and usually they have a lot of interior space, there's at least a few details here and there, but this feels more like a standard LEGO playset and not in a good way, in the sense that the actual build provided is very, very shallow. There's a bit of a weapon rack, there's a chest, and I guess a small sort of viewing platform for 2 figures max to watch the fights going on, but honestly, I definitely would have appreciated something a little more substantial for this build, especially because it is our first Woodland Mansion we've gotten in Minecraft. Placing the 2 figures on the stands themselves and removing the chicken allows for a much fairer fight or much closer contact depending on how you want to see it, and it actually is a little bit interesting seeing how you can actually do battle from figure to figure. It's a super simple play feature and it does not have a lot going on, but something is very satisfying about absolutely flinging your opponent out of the ring just like that. Setting that aside though, I definitely do feel like for $50, I really wish this set offered us something a little bit more. And see, the thing is, the value isn't even that bad. Like 491 pieces is objectively pretty good for 50 bucks, but I feel like out of the stuff you get, I don't know, it's a little lacking to me. Taking a look at the figures though, I actually really do like this one. It's the Great Hog and it's kind of an upscaled version of the standard piglins, and I think it's actually really cleverly built. It introduces a new printed piece for the eye. I love the way the head is done. There's like studs in the side techniques going on to give it the teeth and the ears and a little bit of like a crest, helmet, or mohawk style of thing, and on one hand he has some sort of an energy blaster. Really curious to see where that is going to factor into the movie, as well as posable legs. He reminds me a little bit of the enemies that we got for Minecraft dungeon sets back in the day, and that's definitely a good thing. It feels like a really solid brick-built enemy character, and I can see this posing a very significant threat to standard minifigures, which is super cool. I'd love to army build something like this and just have a ton of them standing around the piglins. But moving on, our next character here is the zombie riding a chicken, aka the chicken jockey. And this is an upscale chicken, much bigger than our regular chickens, and I guess it's a little less terrifying than how it looks like in the movie. Oh god, those eyes. But it is still very uncanny to see a chicken this large in LEGO Minecraft. We've gotten chicken jockeys before, but previously they've used a smaller version of the zombie piece and then just used the regular chicken, which I think works a little bit better than this. This is very monstrous and oversized, but it is hard to tell what scale it's going to be in the movie, so maybe this is the scale it's going to be at. The zombie itself is kind of freaky. I don't know, I'm not a big fan of the facial design here, and a lot of that is because of the movie designs. Of course, you do get Steve. And believe it or not, this is our first official Jack Black LEGO minifigure, which kind of feels like a crime. He is sporting an angry expression for battle, his trademark smirk, and a very simple shirt, showcasing the lines of his belly, but otherwise being very plain. Steve is the only minifigure to appear across both Minecraft movie sets, and that's for obvious reasons, and it is pretty cool to get 2 of these, although still very strange to get Steve as a standard LEGO minifigure. Moving him aside though, we have Jason Momoa's character Garrett the Garbage Man, and this is actually a really well done figure. I actually really like the way the sunglasses are done. They have some really intricate metallic printing on them in pink and gold, reflecting in the light, which is super cool, and he has a terrified expression which I'm sure is going to appear in the movie. The shirt itself is also really cool, featuring kind of like a minifigure stylized version of the shirt he wears in the movie, which is just a really nice touch and all around a really nicely detailed minifigure, surprisingly high quality. Moving onwards, we have our final protagonist of the set, Generic Kid, aka Henry, of course, is his name in the movie, and he's okay. I actually really do like how expressive the facial features are. The absolutely terrified and somewhat like angry screaming expression is really good, and the other side of the head actually does resemble the actor pretty well, so props to the design team here. The graphics are on point, and this is, again, really surprisingly accurate to the movie, which is very much a surprise, because whenever we get movie-based sets, we kind of have to gamble as to whether or not LEGO is going to give us things that are exactly accurate or or just based off of concept art or old concepts. Except for these two sets, both of them have appeared in the trailers in the exact scenarios that these sets depict, which is pretty cool. Altogether, the $50 Woodland Fighting Ring set is definitely very interesting. It is probably the most unique Minecraft set we've gotten in a long time, just because it offers different play possibilities and different things that you can do with it. You've got some sword weapons, a chest here, and just a very narrow style of building, but I don't know if it's my favorite. I definitely feel like I like the other set a lot better, just because it depicts a bit more of a complete scene, and we'll take a look at that set in a second. So, let's just sum up my thoughts here by saying that I feel like this could be a little cheaper. Definitely think that $50 for what you get just doesn't really quite feel right, and I definitely do wish that it included, at least for that price, maybe a couple of other minifigures. Just throw in a movie version of the Pillager, which we have seen in this scene anyways, and they do kind of live in the Woodland Mansion, so I think that would have been really cool to see. Otherwise though, it's just okay. Moving on to the next set here, and the final set, 21273 is the Gassed Balloon Village Attack. It comes with 555 pieces and retails for $70 US, which is really not a great price. It does include two different versions of the Piglins, and Iron Golem in the style of the movie. You've got Jack Black's Steve, a Minecraft villager, as well as Natalie and Dawn, the two other human characters. The set itself is a disparate selection of multiple different village stalls, and honestly feels like a massive downgrade compared to other village sets we've gotten in the past from Minecraft. Before, LEGO Minecraft used to all be about modularity, about being able to fit the pieces of the world together into a much larger display, and unfortunately they just kind of threw that away here in favor of just simple small builds of stands that honestly just don't feel quite as interesting as just regular LEGO Minecraft sets, which usually have a lot more love and creativity poured into them. Not saying that these sets aren't creative, but I definitely do feel like they're missing a bit of the LEGO Minecraft charm by being just one-to-one depictions of the movie and not really allowing for much modularity in between them. I guess it is cool to see some recognizable Minecraft pieces stacked into them, like the lanterns or the fence elements, and of course the chicken stand actually does appear in the trailers, so I imagine this entire set is based off of material given to LEGO to depict based off the movie, but easily the most interesting thing to me in the set is the Gassed Balloon. This is one thing the movie does that I actually think is pretty cool. The ghasts are always really interesting enemies, and hooking them up as a balloon and having piglins dangle beneath them is genuinely a really cool concept, and one that would be really cool to see in-game. The way it's built is also really nice. The ghast is almost unchanged from previous appearances, minus one pretty unfortunate downgrade. Previously, with the LEGO Minecraft ghasts, the way they were built with the internal structure was that you could actually push a bar to allow it to launch two different projectiles from the mouth, in that there was always one other one queued up and ready to go. Unfortunately, they've forgone this feature for the ghast here, which is a bit unfortunate because they had enough space to do it. Obviously, it is a very large cube. They absolutely could have factored that feature in if they wanted to, but they just chose not to for this one, which is a bit unfortunate. Still, it is fun to have the firing blast feature from the mouth, which is very accurate to how it actually works in the game itself, and it's very satisfying to launch those out of those disc launchers introduced for Legend of Chima back in 2014. The balloon itself is attached by two chains and a single Technic rod. There are no real attempts to hide the Technic rod itself, but I can't really think of a better way they could have attached it up while making it still secure, so I think this works pretty well. And it does have a pretty nice sway to it in the fact that it is just attached on one axle, so it does allow you to kind of sway it back and forth by just bending the axle ever so slightly. Despite it being one of the smaller parts of the set, it's easily my favorite. Moving on to the buildings though, I think the problem I have with these stalls is there's just really not that much going on with them, and they very much are just facades. Again, as I mentioned, a lot of what the Minecraft sets do is provide you with a pretty full enclosed building, or at the very least full interiors to play around with, because it's just like you're playing the game and exploring it. Here, they just haven't really done that. You have one feature where you can pull the lever at the bottom of the chicken to allow it to lay an egg, which I guess is pretty cute. It's just a fun feature to have that, but it's super simple, just a very simple slider that you place the egg on top of. There's not much going on, and there is a very lame attempt at including the lava stream to cook the chickens, but there isn't even a cool mechanism. Like, I feel like this could have made a really fun set based off of what we saw in the trailers, to have almost like a Bruce Wayne to Batman transformation feature where you can have a uncooked chicken to cooked chicken. Maybe that would have been a little bit of a morbid playing feature, but I think that would have been really cool to factor in, but they just didn't really do anything with it. The other building included is presumably Steve's house, or where he stores all his supplies, and unfortunately it is also pretty lackluster. It just includes one single diamond sword, and I feel like they could have done so much more with this building. Give us an entire set based off of that location and have it have a full interior with all sorts of Minecraft accessories and weapons mounted on the walls, but instead, unfortunately, it is just a simple stand. You even have these little smaller villager stands as well, selling fish or carrots, and honestly, I do like these for what they are, because these don't need to be enclosed. They literally are just shop stalls for you to be able to take a look at the various wares. So honestly, I kind of like those. Lastly, there is a fountain in the center of the village that has a very simple exploding feature. It is very bare bones for what it is, and again, it feels like all of the items in this set just are a little half-baked. They're just a little less robust as I would expect to see for a standard LEGO Minecraft build, which is very sad and disappointing. I really would have loved to see something a little bit more factored in here. But with that, let's move on to the actual figures. We have the Iron Golem, who is identical to the other Iron Golems we've gotten in the past for LEGO Minecraft, except this time it's in this light gray color as opposed to white. It does introduce two new prints, a new print for the 2x3 tile featuring some realistic foliage growing along the side of it, as well as the print for the head itself, which is a light gray recolor of the villager head. Of course, we do get light gray villager heads for the pillagers, but this one is done up in the Iron Golem style as seen in the movie, which is actually pretty good. I actually think out of all of the mobs in the movie, the Iron Golem is the least terrifying because it already is supposed to look like it's a lumbering stone giant, so there really aren't that many ways that you can mess this up when depicting it in live action, just make it be made out of stone, but otherwise, I actually do think that this figure is pretty solid. Moving on to the villager though, oh man, it's a little less terrifying than how they appear in the movie, I'll give it that. You do have a very realistic, almost uncannily realistic bushy eyebrow there, you've got the mouth, and otherwise the villager pieces have stayed the same, the mold sets have not changed from the game, which makes sense. It doesn't really make sense to make a new piece for them, but yeah, there's one villager here, but then again, I really wish it included a couple or even 3 villagers. It does include a number of stalls though, so why don't we have that? Adebayo from Peacemaker here is done in a pretty simplistic style. You have a very simple style for the torso and the vest, and compared to Aquaman aka Garrett from the other set, I feel like this figure is almost a little bit too simplistic for what it is. I definitely do feel like it doesn't quite capture the actress's likeness here. However, for the other figure here, Enid from Wednesday, I actually really think that the face here does reflect the actress really well, and that's because they had to create a new headpiece for this character. I think the open mouth shock expression works pretty well for the character, and I do like how the alternate expression looks as well, even though the torso printing is very simple. Finally, we have
Steve.
And he is unchanged from his previous set appearance, except this time brandishing a chicken leg, which again I really wish was factored into some sort of a play function to make the chicken be cooked. Of course, the piglins themselves are also depicted in the set using the same mold as the standard Minecraft sets, and they're alright. They're using the movie styling, which just feels very uncanny compared to what I'm very much used to, but I think they're alright. They definitely kind of fall in the middle here for me, where I don't really have strong feelings on their design in particular. They're just very, very simplistic, but also detailed in some areas that feel very strange, like the tattered collars. Overall, the minifigure lineup is certainly one of the most interesting minifigure lineups of all time. It would have been nice to get an extra villager or two, or maybe even a creeper, but honestly, I feel like most of our bases are covered here when it comes to the Minecraft movie, at least from what we've seen from the trailers. It includes every member of the main cast, as well as all of the enemies that are relevant for the movies, and I think that works out pretty well. Sure, it would have been nice to get an extra minifigure or two in the Village Attack set, especially because it is $70 for just a disparate collection of pretty small village stalls and shops, but otherwise I actually do think the minifigures are kind of the highlight of the wave. The builds themselves are definitely weaker than standard LEGO Minecraft set builds, and I love LEGO Minecraft. I actually own every single LEGO Minecraft set they've ever made, and these honestly are some of the weaker ones they've ever put out, mostly because it really feels like the designers were constricted by having to make things accurate to the movie. They had to depict certain scenes, they had to fit them into certain price points, and because of that, a lot of the buildings end up feeling a little lackluster compared to what they really should look like. Overall though, I think I've said everything I can say about the Minecraft movie LEGO sets. I really was not sure if we would ever actually get them. We didn't get sets for the Mario movie after all, and so this is certainly very, very strange. Honestly, the Minecraft movie is going to be one of the must-see movies of the year. I eagerly anticipate just clowning on it. I don't think it's going to be good, although I will go into it with an open mind. You know, I might be surprised, but I just really wish they did something like the Mario movie, where they made it fully animated in CG and made it an actual tale set in the universe of Minecraft. I think that just would have been a lot more fun and interesting than the Minecraft isekai. But that is what it is. I will very much be excited to see how the rest of the mobs look like on screen. I think a new trailer is releasing either like today or yesterday, depending on when this video is actually going to be released. So I hope you enjoyed taking a look at the LEGO Minecraft movie sets. That's all for now. DuckBricks out.